There we are. Happy Friday. How are you? I hope you're enjoying the day. I hope you're staying cool. It's very hot, but it's cold in here, so put my little jacket on. I haven't worn this in a while. This is the one I got in Ireland at a little thrift shop on 9/11. And everyone heard my accent when I was looking around with my friend Elma. And they were like, "We're with you, love. We're with you." And they were hugging me, and, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe the English says love. I'm not really sure who says what now. That was a long time ago, but I'm whispering because it was so quiet in here before I started this. How are you? Is your house quiet? How are your pets? Mine's asleep over there, which is good news for right now. Okay, well, what are we doing here? I haven't even looked through my notes. I just wanted to go ahead and take advantage of this nice quiet time. My Ken's in there with Jeff Probst. Not literally, just figuratively, Jeff's in there snuffing out somebody's torch or whatnot. Okay, he's like our roommate here. He's our third roommate. Which Ken and I live like siblings, by the way. I know some people might be like, they're living in sin. No, we're not living in sin. We're not a couple. We're like brother and sister. Okay. All right, so I brought some artwork. I took some of my older artwork, and I have some newer stuff too, but then I just put some, I went ahead and updated their eyeballs. As you know, I've been enjoying making blobs and putting eyeballs on them and just having fun with that. And I've hung them around in my little workspace in the other room, and it just really makes me happy. They're just so goofy and so, it just brings me joy. You bring me joy. I need a big blush. All right. There we go. Here's a little guy. Isn't that sweet? He's like a little pink. I don't know what he is. Is he a fox? Is he a wolf? I don't know. A dog? He's a critter. He's a pink critter and he's cute. Okay. Probably seen him, and I have to say I've been enjoying thinking about stories to write with him. This is Tornator. He's not like the other Tornators in the bunch. He hates his job. He hates it. He feels terrible. A regular Tornado is like, we're gonna get it, whatever. And he's like, I'm so sorry. He hates his job. He's so sorry. Okay. All right, then I don't know what this is. I made this earlier. I have no idea what this is. It looks like there's like a little wormy monster on top of like another little monster. Don't know. Okay. This one I called Spooning in the Garden. We got two little characters there. They're pretty happy looking. They're cuddling. Okay. This one sparked kind of a funny conversation with Reverend me earlier. This one is obviously it's a sunshine with a big giant like smiley face on it. I should probably get a light or something. It's not that bright, is it? When River was real little, River would be like, "No, Mama." Whenever I'd go to put a smiley face on the sunshine, "Mama, no." Like it just wasn't realistic enough. This is like at 2 or 3 years old. Okay. Anyway, let me see if I can. If you're just tuning in, I'm just showing up here and having fun. If you're just tuning in here, I'm just showing up and having some fun and sharing what I've been creating and sharing things that I learn. That's all I do. I'm not in showbiz. Okay, let's see what else. Nor am I an artist. I just do, this is like an expression of an inner child. This is like inner child expressive art therapy, which anybody can do. You just have to take courage, because it's hard to really express yourself in a way that might seem childlike or childish, where other people will just openly mock you or make fun of you or whatever. You just have to be willing to be mocked and made fun of and have fun with it, because the whole purpose of this, like, look at this one. This one's called Purple Peep Takes a Wrong Turn. Now look, he ends up in a bad place here. Look at this guy. He doesn't actually belong. See the rest of these guys? These are pretty dark characters, you know. He's not really sure. He takes a wrong turn. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, these are some of the good old favorites on here. Let's see. The ones on the board. These are the first time I ever actually just tried to draw just blobs of color and make it into critters or whatever. If you remember, we've got the last pickle. I just added an eyeball to that because it just seemed, well, because I could. Not because it was the right thing to do or whatever, but it's the last pickle. I don't know if you guys eat pickles, but there's always this one last little ragged, floaty, tattered, disgusting, pale, half-chomped pickle. It looks like it's already been chomped. It really hasn't. It's just tattered. I guess because all the other pickles have had to drag and flow right next to it. Anyway, they're usually kind of angry looking. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants the last pickle. Now, Ken is notorious for eating the last things and stuff, even like the last piece of stale bread, because he doesn't like to waste anything. He has this real, what would you call it? I mean, it's just a bugbear, a thing. Like he has a thing about it. Okay. All right, and here's my other moody one from that time period. This is a few months ago, but I decided to add some eyeballs to it too. Always on my mood. And you were always on my mood. Do you have someone that's always on your mood? Did they do that? You did that. They did that. Sometimes it's you. You have to say, I did that. This is meant to be like a greeting card for someone that did something. You said this. You did that. You did this to us. Okay. There you go. You could get the whole office to sign it. And speaking of which, this one's called Office Party. This one's These guys love each other. These guys have a good time at work. They whistle while they work. Right? Okay, there you go. There you have it. I think, the whole purpose of art in general for me, personally, because I'm not trained as an artist, obviously. It's just to find different ways to express yourself. And obviously I've been in a phase with these the candy eyeballs. I haven't even looked in the mirror. What's going on here? Okay, who cares? All right, so let me tell you what I was going to tell you today. I was going to tell you about this Monopoly study. I shared that on the community page earlier because it's fascinating. The idea, well, let me just go through and read some of this to you. The Monopoly study, a famous social psychology experiment conducted by Paul Piff. Paul Piff. What an exciting name. Paul Piff, Dr. Piff. Okay, at the University of California, Berkeley, the study used a rigged game of Monopoly to demonstrate how financial privilege and wealth dramatically alter human behavior, empathy, and self-perception. Wealth alters human behavior, empathy, and self-perception. Okay. Now, some of these social psychology experiments seem like sometimes they try to test obvious things, or they try to prove obvious things, or sometimes they try to make broad generalizations on studies that maybe don't have a huge sample size or whatever. So social psychology can be kind of hit or miss in terms of like how valid some of this might be, but I think this is still valuable to look at here. So let's see. It says how the experiment worked. This is called the Monopoly study, okay? Researchers brought pairs of strangers into a lab to play a game of Monopoly. A coin flip randomly assigned one player to be rich and the other player to be poor. So, okay, you just randomly assign to this, just like in life. You don't know what country you're going to be born to. You don't know what family you're going to be born to. God knows, and God puts you there on purpose. So I don't know that it's actually random in real life. It's probably more like divinely designed. There's a beautiful design. And there's a plan. And we're right on time, by the way. Everybody talks about, like, delays. That's only if you've made a plan that you thought you were going to be somewhere. I mean, God is right on time. And his plan usually involves chunks of time where we slow it down. Slow down. Not speed up, but shh. Slow down. And get quiet and listen for his voice. Okay, but let's get back to Monopoly. Okay. All right. So, flip of a coin. You're the rich one. I'm the poor one. Let's do it like that, right? So, now it's not like they knew ahead of time. They were given a huge bunch more money, like several hundred more dollars at the beginning of the game. They were allowed to do both dice. They were allowed to have more money when they passed go. They were allowed all these advantages in the beginning, just based on a coin flip. So one of them was the wealthy player, one of them was the poor player. So the idea was to see, like, what would happen if you stack the deck. You have the rich person is already able to buy up all the stuff. And the poor guy's just like, in every game they were showing examples in this guy's TED Talk, Dr. Piff. And they just were showing examples of the way these people were reacting to, like, being ahead in the game. They were getting really cocky. They were getting loud. They were tapping their little piece on the game board real hard. Like, harder than the person who was all sullen, like, with only $5 left or whatever. Let me see what it says here. Okay. Right, so they doubled the money. The rich player received twice as much when they started. They could roll 2 dice, while the poor player could only roll 1. And then the higher income, the rich player collected double the reward, so 200 instead of 100 every time they pass go. All right, so the key behavioral discoveries. Through hidden cameras, researchers observed massive behavioral shifts in the quote-unquote rich players within just 15 minutes. We're so shallow. Something like this can affect us in 15 minutes. We're suddenly superior because we have, like, wads of dough in our Monopoly game, Okay, so the first part is aggression and dominance. Rich players moved their pieces more loudly, literally slamming them onto the board. Just talked about that. Rudeness. They became noticeably ruder, mocking their opponent's misfortune and and flaunting their own wealth. They're becoming braggarts, like rude. And then entitlement. A bowl of pretzels. Oh, here come the pretzels. Those pretzels are making you thirsty, probably, right? A bowl of pretzels was placed on the table. The rich players ate significantly more pretzels and took up more physical space at the table. So there's some sort of according to the study, I mean, if you were to extract from it, there's some sort of an effect it has on a person's way they see themselves, the way they hold themselves, and the way they behave. Just like, even though it's an arbitrary flip of the coin, and how many pretzels they eat, and how hard they slam their pieces down, and how they taunt the poor person. Okay, it says the core finding is, quote, the merit illusion. It says the most profound finding occurred after the game ended, when researchers asked the winners why they won. The players attributed their success to their own smart strategies and choices. They completely ignored the fact that the coin flip had rigged the entire game in their favor from the very first turn. Now that explains this privilege thing where people forget the kind of privilege you're born into. If you're born in this country, in America, even if America, even if you're not well off, you're still like, there's still a blessing to be born here. There's like a privilege of it. If you have white skin, even still, even though, I mean, I would like for us to get beyond this one day, but even still, you're like treated differently. So there's a privilege involved. You don't always have to be thinking about your skin color in many areas, So these are these privileges that we just ignore, and we just look past. The places we're born, the kind of families we're born into, the kind of advantages that we have, right? So then we just, I guess this is what it says, attribute their success to their own smart strategies and choices and ignore the kind of things. This says Epiphanes' team utilized the study as a metaphor for society's socioeconomic hierarchies. The research suggests that as people accumulate wealth or status, their empathy and compassion naturally decrease, while their sense of entitlement increases. It showcases how easily the human mind tricks itself into believing that privilege is earned, fueling systematic inequality. Systematic inequality. Well, I mean, I think we are all brought into the world with varying levels of skills and gifts and things like that. So I don't know that, I think. But in terms of hierarchies, I keep on seeing, especially with the Lord's people, I keep seeing a circle with him in the middle of it, not this hierarchy thing where you have like a guru or something on top. I mean, or a priest or some, I don't see this thing where this one person is the one in touch with the Lord and then they disseminate everything downward. That doesn't feel right to me. It feels like we're a circle of believers that share with one another. I guess I'm more like a Quaker or something like that share with one another what we're learning, and we help one another, and we fellowship, and we share the good news and stuff like that. It's not something where it's this top-down hierarchical, we got a boss man somewhere, Besides the Lord is our boss man. The Lord is our high priest. So I just keep seeing a circle of out-called ones. A lot of John the Baptists. I hope you're not eating actual locusts, but you're probably just eating regular food. But people who have withdrawn and who have been brought up with the Lord, very close with the Lord, walking closely. Oh my goodness, okay. I don't even know how this looks. Okay. Oh, excellence. Let me get this off here. Let's look at our notebook real quick.